the big April 8th bottom. A lot's happened since then. What stands out the most to you and what's changed?
What stands out first off is the speed with which the market fell 10%. So we had a 10% decline from the February 19th high into March. It only took 22 calendar days for that decline to occur. Normally, for declines of 10% or more, it ends up being something like 80 days. So what I found was that swift tends to equal shallow and quick recoveries. And that's exactly what we got. On April 4th, we ended up with a 90% down day, according to our Lowry associates. And they said basically it was throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I like to take a look at the percentage of the S&P sub-industries, and there are 155 of them. What percent are trading above their 50 and 200-day moving averages? And on April 4th, that number had fallen to 1%. And typically, once you go below 10%, it indicates, we're getting to an oversold situation. And if it goes below 5%, it's like ringing the dinner bell. Come and get it. And so on April 14th, I published a sector watch that said bottoming bearishness. Didn't write it on the 4th, but did it fairly soon thereafter. And again, what happened was history told us, well, where do we want to go? What do we want to be invested in once we do hit a bottom from a 10% decline or greater? And basically, it's a rotation from first to worst. Move away from those sectors that held up the best during the market decline, usually your defensive consumer staples, healthcare, utilities, and into the groups that were beaten up the most. And in this case, it was communication services, consumer discretionary, and tech. And typically, they're the ones that lead the way out and tend to outperform even as much as a year later. So the 3 worst performing sectors, 10 worst performing sub-industries, and that's working again this time around. So I like to pat history on its back.
You were expecting a pop after that drop. You realized that the coast was clear on the 14th. There was some talk about Zweig breath thrust. I know there's a Lowry's breath thrust. Was that what helped you guys realize the coast was clear? Or was there some other indications?
I think that was the one that I can identify. I read your research. I read other people's research, Craig Johnson from Piper Sandler, etc.
Excellent.
And so I am willing to steal from the best. Basically, my thought was putting all that data together with my percentage of sub-industry model with Lowry. Lowry is very good if you wanted to get a better feel for the short term, because as you had said, the Zweig thrust gave a good idea that, that was a pretty powerful move, both down and then subsequently up. And so that indicated that maybe we have seen the worst.
Watch the full episode of Wealthwise by clicking on the link in the description.